Sleep is a remarkable state in which we spend about one third of our life. In this video, I am going to tell you what is sleep, what are the different stages of the sleep, and what is the distribution of these sleep stages throughout the night. Hey everyone, welcome back to HM Learnings. I am Harshita, the creator of HM Learnings, where students come to clear their concept and to get the study material. Make sure that you have subscribed my channel. You can also follow HM Learnings on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter for daily updates. We are also uploading all our content on SlideShare app, so you can easily download and clip our slides from that website. So we are going to start our today's video, that is part 1 of the sleep physiology, and in this part we are going to discuss about the definition of the sleep, the different stages of the sleep, the different patterns which we are going to see in the EEG, EOG and the ENG in different stages of the sleep, and what is the distribution of these different stages throughout the night. And in the upcoming videos we are going to see that what are the areas in our brain that actually responsible for the sleep and which are responsible for the wakefulness, and what are the different neurotransmitters which are involved in this. And apart from this, in the next part, you can see in the further videos we are going to see about the circadian rhythm, the role of the circadian rhythm in the sleep, and many more. So we can start our first video on the sleep. So the first is a definition of the sleep. So here are two definitions taken with the two different sources. So the first definition says that sleep is a reversible behavioral state that alternates with waking. So we have a wakefulness and we have a sleep. Both are totally opposite from each other. It is characterized by a recumbent posture, a raised threshold to sensory stimulation, a low level of motor output, and a unique behavior, that is dreaming. So you are going to have a more threshold, the sensory stimulation, that threshold needs to be more to wake you up from the state. A lower level of motor output, physical activity is very low during sleep, and a very unique behavior which is seen during the sleep is the dreaming. The next definition you can say is more physiological, or you can say is discussing about or highlighting the point that we have certain areas in the brain that are responsible for this phenomenon. So sleep is a temporary reversible loss of consciousness produced by the specific brain circuitry that inhibits the ascending arousal system. So you have one system which is called as the ascending arousal system, starting from the midbrain reticular formation and the other areas of the hypothalamus. It is going to the forebrain, to the cerebral cortex, different areas to cause the arousal, and this is responsible for the wakefulness. Now, how the sleep occurs? When this ascending arousal system is inhibited by the specific brain circuitry, which is nothing but the areas, but the neurotransmitters which are involved in promoting the sleep. So you have a sleep promoting area and you have a ascending arousal system, and the activity, or you can say the balance between these two, are going to govern that which is the state of the person right now. So right now we are awake, so you can say that the sleep promoting areas are inhibited but the ascending arousal system is more active. So I hope the definition of the sleep is clear to all of you. Now the next point which is very important is the stages of the sleep. So broadly we have two stages of the sleep, non-rapid eye movement and the rapid eye movement. So a question comes that how we are able to differentiate between the different stages of the sleep. During sleep we are unconscious. So how you are going to say that there are different stages of the sleep? So there must be some technique, some method to determine that there are changes which are happening in our body, there are changes which are happening in the brain and in the eye as well as in the muscle, which are going to govern the different stages of the sleep, and that technique is called as a polysomnography. So polysomnography is basically a non-invasive method in which we ask the patient to lay down to sleep, and during sleeping of that person we are recording the different parameters which are helping us to classify the sleep, as well as which help us to see that whether the person's sleep pattern is normal or not normal. So like you can see in this figure, we are recording EEG, we are recording EOG, and we can also record the ECG, and the oral nasal airflow is also recorded in order to see in some of the patients which complain that we have obstructive sleep apnea with the sleep. And then chain EMG, you have pulse oximetry and the thoracic and the abdominal movements. These are the parameters which we recorded during the polysomnography. But the three most important ones which you have to remember is the electroencephalograph, that is the EEG, electrooculogram, and the third one is the electromyogram. So these three are basically helping us to differentiate the sleep stages broadly into the two, that is the non-rapid eye movement and the rapid eye movement. So EOG is going to tell you that whether the sleep is in the non-rapid or in the rapid. So if the eye is moving, you can say that the rapid eye movement is sleep is there. So EOG, if you are going to see the activity in the EOG, you can say it's a rapid eye movement sleep. If EOG is not showing you activity, then you can say it is a non-rapid eye movement of sleep. Then there are further three stages, N1, N2, N3, which are basically the further three stages, sub-stages of the non-rapid eye movement sleep. So here these are differentiated from each other by the help of the EEG and the EMG, that is the activity of the cortex and the activity of the muscles. So now in the next slide we are going to say that basically what is happening and how the activity is being altering. So we know that there are different stages of the sleep and the sleep versus wakefulness. So first the person is awake. So what happens when the person is awake and it changes to the sleep, and what is the first stage you are going to see when the person starts sleeping? So here in the wakeful stage, what is happening, you can see the EEG. So in the EEG, you can see the high frequency activity and the low amplitude activity, which is basically known as the beta waves, which have a frequency of about 13 to 30 hertz. And or you can say even the gamma waves. So gamma waves have a frequency from 30 to 100 hertz. So this shows that the neurons whose activity we are recording with the help of this technique, electrocorticogram. So those neurons are firing either in this range or in this range. So this shows that the cortical neurons, the person is actually awake. When we talk about the EEG, so this is the EEG of a right eye, this is the EEG of a left eye. So you can see there is an activity which has been seen in both the right and the left EEGs. And the thing is that these activities are complementary to each other. So if there is a positive deflection in right EEG, there is a negative deflection in the left EEG. EMG is also showing the considerable activity. So this is a state of a wakeful individual in which you are going to see these things in the polysomnograph. Then what happens now, the person starts feeling drowsy. So it enters into the stage 1, which is a non-rapid eye movement sleep. So whenever a person feels drowsy, it will enter into the non-rapid eye movement sleep, not into the rapid eye movement sleep directly. There is a reason that why the person doesn't fall into the rapid eye movement sleep. It is which we are actually going to discuss when we are going to discuss about the circuits in the brain involved in the sleep and the wakefulness. So now in the stage 1, what is happening? Non-rapid eye movement of the sleep. So definitely, as we are saying, it is a non-rapid eye movement of sleep. EOG activity will be very low. Okay, it will be very low or even not significant. EEG activity, you can say what has happened, that the frequency has been decreased. Okay, so here you can see that it has been into the theta rhythm, and which has a frequency of about 3 to 7 hertz. Okay, and you can see EMG also found to be reduced. EMG activity is also found to be reduced. In the stage 2, now from the stage 1, the person is fall into the stage 2. So even in the stage 1, what happens? The person is drowsy, the consciousness is being little bit lost, and here even a light, even not that much, even a weak stimulus can actually wake up the individual. So in the stage 2, now the person is going into the deep sleep. So stage 2 non-rapid eye movement sleep, you can see now here what is happening. Here what happens is that again the frequency is in the range of theta or the delta waves, and here the most important thing is you are going to see is the potassium complex. So potassium complex is seen in the stage 2, and the sleep spindles are also seen in this. So sleep spindles, they have a frequency of about 12 to 16 hertz, and potassium complexly called because it has a shape of a potassium. So these occur because of the interaction between the thalamocortical relay neurons and the thalamic reticular neurons. EOG, again you are going to see very low activity. EMG, you can see EMG activity is further reduced. Now what happens is when the person progresses to stage 3. So in the stage 3 you are going to see you can say frequency is further lower down, but the amplitude is increased. So here the person is in the in the delta rhythm, very deep sleep. Okay, so that is about 0.5 to 4 hertz or 3 hertz की frequency में there will be activity in the cortical neurons. EOG activity little bit starts appearing because now the person will progress from stage 3 to stage 4. So basically what happens is that normally we consider stage 3 and stage 4 as N3 stage in the recent literature, and here also you can see the amplitude is increased and the voltage and amplitude is increased, but the frequency is decreased. So as we progress from wake to our deeper stages of the sleep, so from N1 to N4, the depth of the sleep is increasing. So what happens, there is a phenomenon called as a cortical synchronization. So cortical synchronization means that most of the neurons are firing in the synchrony. So what happens when the neurons are firing in the synchrony, their amplitude gets increased. So amplitude gradually is increasing, but the frequency is reducing. So as a person is progressing into the deeper stages of the sleep, the amplitude of the waves increasing and the frequency reduces. Now after the this non-REM sleep, the person enters into the rapid eye movement sleep. So in the rapid eye movement sleep, what you are going to see, EOG activity will be seen, and here the thing is that the REM sleep is also called as a paradoxical sleep. Why? Because you can compare the activity in the wake and the REM sleep. EEG appears to be a little bit same. Here also you can see the beta waves. Even when the person is in sleep, you can see the waves that are appearing in the awake state. Then EOG activity is also seen. That is why it is called as a rapid eye movement sleep. But the major difference lies here, because here is what there is. Here is muscle atonia. Okay, so this is called as a paradoxical sleep. So you can see here that the person from the awake falls first into the non-REM stage 1. You have to remember that the person from the awake doesn't fall into the REM sleep. First it has to fall into the non-REM sleep, then non-REM stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, they are together called as a N3 also in the recent literature, and then REM sleep. And from the REM sleep, the person can wake up. Okay, so these are the important things you have to remember, that which type of the wave is seen in which stage of the sleep, what is the state of the ocular activity at that time, what is EMG at that stage. You have to remember this thing. So now you can see that these are the points which I have already mentioned you, what are the different waves you are going to see in each of the stages. Okay, and now we have time to discuss about that, how the distribution of different sleep stages are happening. So you can say that how much time the person sleeps in the REM sleep and how much time the person sleeps in the non-REM sleep. So basically you can say we are plotting here a hyponogram. So hyponogram is basically plotting the stages of the sleep with respect to the hours of the sleep. So the x-axis is showing the hours of the sleep, which is 8 hours of the sleep. Now this 8 hours of the sleep, the person, how much time the person spends in which stage of the sleep, it is being showing. So what is happening, you have a cycle of 90 minutes. So in 90 minutes, what is happening, you have both REM and non-REM sleep. Okay, in the next 90 minutes, again the same thing is going to happen. So you have a period of 90 minutes. In 90 minutes, you have REM sleep, non-REM sleep, you have all the 3 stages, then REM sleep. Then the next 90 minutes are going to start in which you are going to have again all the 3 stages of the non-REM sleep, then the REM sleep, again the 90 stages. So the whole 8 hours is divided into the 90 minutes cycles. Okay. So as we progresses to, you can say, further sleep hours, what we are going to see, that the duration of the REM sleep, the person spending time more in the REM sleep, okay, and the non-REM sleep is decreasing. Okay, so with with increase in the number of the 90 minutes, in the further 90 minutes that are going to happen, the duration of the REM sleep is going to be increased and the duration of the non-REM sleep is going to be decreased, because you can see that the duration of the 90 minutes is the same. So in this 90 minutes, the duration in the first 90 minutes more is a non-REM sleep. In the second, third and fourth and fifth, you're going to see that the REM is increasing but the non-REM is decreasing. So here is showing that only, that you have a awake state which is shown in this color. Then the person from the awake state falls into the N1, then to the N2, and then it spends a considerable amount of the time in the N3. And then what happens, that first it deeps into from the awake state, it falls into the deeper stages of the sleep. Now the sleep becomes lighter. It will go to N2 stage, okay, and then it goes to the REM sleep. Then so here you can see from here to here there is a completion of 90 minutes. Then the next 90 minutes this is the first 90 minutes, then the next 90 minutes are going to be started. So here again, first you have here they have not shown the N1 sleep, then they have N1, N2, N3, then they again fall into then again the sleep is lighting. From the N3 it goes into the N2 and then it spends some time in the REM sleep. So here again is the end of the next 90 minutes. Okay, so like that, as we progresses, what is going to happen, the duration of the REM sleep is increasing but the duration of the non-REM sleep is decreasing. You can see here that there was no N1 shown here. Okay, N1 is also not shown here. Okay, the N3 is, as you compare between these two, the N3 duration is decreased. Okay, so here you can see the N3 is not there, only the N2 is there. Again, the duration of the N2 is decreased. Here the duration of N2 you can compare and here you can compare. So you can say that as the sleep progresses, okay, what happens, that the REM sleep duration is increasing and the non-REM sleep duration is decreasing. Okay, so this is what they have seen, that you have a period of rapid eye movement sleep which is alternating with the non-rapid eye movement sleep about every 90 minutes. Okay, then an individual typically progresses from the wake state into the light non-REM sleep, then into the deeper, and then back to the lighter non-REM sleep before the first period of the REM sleep occurs. As the night progresses, the individual spends less time in the deepest stage of the non-REM sleep and the duration of the REM sleep increases. So I hope that you are clear with this. We have seen the definition of the sleep, the various stages of the sleep, the distribution of different sleep stages. It's very important to remember. So in the next video, we are going to discuss about the ascending arousal system as well as the sleep promoting areas, the flip-flop system, the flip-flop model, and which actually explains that why the transition happens between the sleep and the wakefulness so quickly, and how the transition between the non-REM sleep to REM sleep is happening. And then we are also going to discuss about the different the circadian rhythm and the homeostatic pressure and homeostatic drive in the upcoming videos. So if you like this video, please like, share and comment. Let me know in the comment section if any doubt you have in this video. You can refer Candle for more clarity, and I will just say that please subscribe to our channel for the upcoming videos so that you get the notification. Until then, keep learning.